Hello, good evening, and welcome back. Today we're going over Exeter with Saga Card or Carl Benjamin and Milo. And as you see from the title, Milo gets milkshaked, and I'm going to go after, in particular, how he responds to it and how it's been different from other people's response. And I think it's a great way to do it, to mock and disarm the people who are responsible for it.
Sorry? Same here. Oh. Another one of our friendly neighbourhood lefties has been very polite and genteel. And
that was from a Liberal Democrat who are obviously very pro-Remain, and Labour are concerned that they're losing the Remain vote because they are going over to Liberal Democrats because Liberal Democrats are solid on their pro-Remain stance. But the particular bit that I wish to draw attention to is how Milo responds to this.
This smells better than the last.
And the thing is, one of us knows who you are, so we'll send the police round for assaulting one of our speakers.
Oh, it's the second time I've been covered in chocolate this week. This smells better than the last one.
I was going to say you probably had worse, but I didn't want to.
Leave this one with me.
Yes, I will, yes.
You don't need to. I got this. Right, I need to get this picture. No, I want you to take the picture when I'm still, sodden. Right. Oh, I want to thank that young man, and I hope that he sees this video because I'm already getting offers to lick it off.
And yes, that's the main point.
Yeah,
you don't need.
That Milo takes this in his stride. He doesn't get angry, he doesn't care, he dances out the way a bit, he frolics if you'd prefer. And yeah, he says, already getting offers to lick it off, even going as far as to thank the gentleman who was responsible for throwing it on him. And after this, Carl responded in a similar way about being hit by a milkshake by saying, well, it was a really hot day, so I was kind of pleased to have something cold on me to reduce the heat a bit, actually. And he's also said that in another one where somebody got close to him recently that, I really like milkshakes, actually. If you just given it to him, I would have accepted it and started drinking it. Although when he was offered an ice cream, he declined because he's on a diet. But the point being that you can mock the people who are doing this to you, and it reduces their power substantially, and that's the whole idea of mocking people that annoys them, which is of course why, as the cliche goes, that in Nazi Germany, that the people poking fun of the government, or in fact with any tyrannical fascistic government, that people who aren't singing the praises of the government are then at worst executed, or at the very least persecuted. And that the same is seen, of course, in China with their social credit system, that if you badmouth the government, then it lowers your social credit score, which means you are warned by your peers, you can't travel as freely, and you're noted on a map to show who you are, where you live, and that kind of thing. And it comes back to the principle similar to terrorism, because of course terrorism is political violence, or violence in the name of a political ideology, which is exactly what these people are showing here. That they're trying to convey intimidation because of a differing in opinion with regards to politics, which is pretty much the definition of terrorism. So these are very weak and limp-wristed acts of terrorism, technically. But if you have a society or culture that fights back against it, then people are going to be much more wary to do it again. A lovely example is, of course, the attempted terrorist attack in France on the train, where there were 3 ex-army guys, I believe, US Army, who were trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and Stephen Crowder interviewed one of them, I believe, that one of the guys was sleeping, and one of the guys who was awake saw the terrorist come on with his gun, and just woke the guy up as he started off running, and say, come with me. So the guy was kind of waking up as he was running towards the guy, and they did tackle him. They took his big gun away, then they took his pistol away, then they eventually took his knife away, although of course he one of the guys getting him in a chokehold had his ear slashed and thumb severed because of it, or at least cut very deeply. But the point is that if you stand up to terrorism or these acts, then they're not going to continue very long. It is difficult to then not become tyrannical in yourself, that you don't want to take away somebody's freedom and free speech by being too preemptive. But if somebody does something like this, obviously you don't know what is being thrown at you. In the case of a Milkshake, considering how prevalent acid attacks are in the United Kingdom, that it could easily be something like that. And that's why I strongly suggest that in the security forces for candidates, particularly Carl Benjamin, Milo Yiannopoulos and Tommy Robinson, that you should have at least a bucket of water with you, so that as soon as somebody gets something thrown on them, throw the water over them, just straight away. Because if it's acid, it's going to dilute it, and it's not going to have such a strong effect. And if it isn't, then, well, you've helped wash it away a bit, I suppose. But in particular, it's to stop it from going any further. And I'm not surprised when people fight back, because you're not sure if that's just a distraction, and then they're going to pull out a knife, considering the guy's in knife crime in the United Kingdom as well. And Milo's response is a much more light-hearted and non-violent response of mockery, which is perfect. To basically say, hey, you've done something bad to me, but it's actually turned out quite well for me, so I kind of like it. And look how many jokes and likes I can get from this. And I'm not even playing the martyr to get likes and appreciation for it. I'm just making fun of you. And it's that mentality that I think is perfect. And I know that comedy is tragedy plus time, and the English have a history of making comedy in order to deal with tragic things. Obviously, rape jokes are an example of that. But that kind of approach really disarms anybody willing to do harm, because they know that they're doing it to try and get a message across, that if they can't convey with words, then they convey with actions and violence. Deeds, not words, as Emmeline Pankhurst, the terrorist feminist, said, of course. And a statue of her has been erected in Manchester now, outside, well, in St. Peter's Square, outside the main library, despite her calls to arson and blowing up men-dominated areas like cricket pavilions and the like. So, obviously terrorist, because again, it's destruction, violence and intimidation for political ideology. But that's just a side note here. The point that Milo shows perfectly, and I encourage everyone else to do so, is to just mock and ridicule and make fun of immensely anybody who wishes to intimidate through means of violence. So ideally, it's either that or violence straight away. And the point of that is that response to violence is not premeditated, it is immediate, and it is concordant with the level of abuse that has been responded. Which is also why, if somebody is concerned that their act is going to respond in violence, that they're less likely to do it, which is shown, as I've mentioned before, with Brazil, with their looser gun laws, that they've had decreased violent crime as well. That if somebody's concerned that attacking somebody will result in them getting shot and killed on the spot, then they're much less likely to do it. But that's it for now. Have a lovely evening, have a lovely week, and I'll see you next time.